Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp on the Lip, and I'm here with a special treat for you all today. I gotta say, I am definitely happy that I commented some things on Facebook because I saw someone talking about this Lone Sherman. It's a solitaire war game by Mike Lambo, and he saw that I had an interest in it. I'm bumping my tripod, forgive me. Saw that I had an interest in it, and he decided to go ahead and send me a copy of it. Not just that, he actually included Fields of Normandy as well. And now I gotta say, I want the whole damn series because this is cooler than hell. The entire game is simply just what I'm holding in front of you. It's all in the book, right? Counters, the maps, the rolls, missions, the whole thing. This one has 11 missions in it. Now, what you see out in front of you here, this is all stuff that I printed out and glued down and did it all myself. So I created my own counters, printed the map out, put it on some cardstock, got it all set up. So you can do it this way. You can play it straight out of the book. You can even take a picture of it with like tablet, Android, whatever you're using, and draw on it if you've got the appropriate materials, right? One of those little styluses where you can draw on it. You can do it that way. So you can really play the game however you want. Now, just as an FYI, the counters for the game are here in the back of the book. Let's find the right page and show it to you guys. So there's all the counters that you need. They're here in the back of the book. You'll notice my printer is running out of ink. That's why this looks a little off color. Please forgive me for that. But these look a little nicer than mine that printed out. They're here. They're also on BGG. As you can see, he links to it down there. So you can go there and download this page so you can print it out very easily. Or you can just scan it and copy it. Now, when it comes to the mission that we're playing here, I've got mission 1 laid out, got its little map printed out so you guys can see it's the same map. And all we're gonna need is this. I thought about just laying the book out like this, but I didn't wanna overly tear up the book. Now, it does say you can do that and just crease it, and it's got a good binding in it, which I gotta say it does have a good binding to it. That way you can play it that way if you wanted to, but this way it makes it easier. I can have the components laid out, and if I need to pick up the book, I can do that during the course of filming without having to worry about it. Now, when I was originally looking at this, I was thinking, okay, well, this is kind of like a poor man's American Tank Case. And it's actually really not. There's a fair amount of gameplay in here, and this is hex and counter gameplay, so maneuvering matters more. It's way different than American Tank Case. Is similar in the aspect that you are controlling a tank. You do have your people that are in the tank, commander, loader, gunner, driver, assistant driver, all those people. You have to keep it loaded. We're not worrying about the types of ammunition that are in it. A little more simplistic in that. You do have the ability to go open hatch or buttoned up, but it's all that type of gameplay streamlined to make it very easy to play on a single map with a single mission that's going on. You can play them all out as a campaign if you wish. And then just the materials that are on the other side of the map are all you're going to need to be able to play it out. Okay, so what I've done here to try to make this a little bit easier is I've laid out the book with all the materials that we need to reference here. This way I'll pick it up and show it to you guys as we go along. And I've got my map here. So you're going to have your counter representing your little Sherman tank. And in this, you do have the ability to have a turret. You can fire in any direction. It's just abstracted in the game. So you're not going to have to worry about your turrets facing right, facing left, anything like that. It can move around. You can fire 360 as long as your line of sight isn't blocked. Enemy tanks are going to be represented by their own counters. These are like Panzer IVs, Panzer IIIs. There's also a Tiger and a truck that can be used in specific missions as well. Then we have things like the ability to go hull down, the ability to have smoke, which is for us, the Sherman, and the Panzers as well. And then there are German infantry that can be placed on the map as well. So I know you guys are looking at this and you're going, okay, well, this looks really complicated. It's actually not. So we're going to play some of this mission, let you guys see how the rules play out. Very simplistic, and I love the way that he's done it. He's got the stats, right? Actually, let me pull this around. So up here we have the stats for our Sherman and the enemy Shermans, the ones that we're going to see in this mission. So the size comes into play when you're firing at a distance. The smaller the number, the bigger the tank, okay? So when we're firing, you'll see how that works, but a bigger number makes it harder to hit. So a smaller tank like that Panzer III is going to be a little bit harder to hit than the Panzer IV. Panzer IV being roughly the same size as the Sherman that we have. Our armor values here are easy. Front side, rear, and then AP is armor piercing. So how much you have the ability to give a little bonus to your attacks. Stats are equally the same when it comes to the Panzers here. Front side, rear. The lower the number, the worse the armor when it comes to it. And that actually comes into play down here when we're doing our damage. So we'll roll to see if we hit our target, applying modifiers. We'll roll to see if we damage our target and then see what type of damage is done. And if you're damaging, it's just a D6 roll that is it greater or equal to the target's armor value minus the attacker's AP. That's it. So if you look at all of this here, it looks so complicated. I remember the first time I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, this is way more complex than I thought. It's not. He's got a simplistic, streamlined game that's easily able to be solitaired, and all the rules are here on one page. And stuff like the events, they're going to change in between each one of the missions. I love that. All you really need to play the game, once you understand the rules, is that. You just lay it out to that page, and then whatever you're going to use for your counters. Okay, so let me stop talking about it and just play it. That way you guys can see how it goes. I'll use my camera to zoom in on the specific parts of the pages. That way you guys can see as we go along. Got my tank set up here. This is just a tiny bit off cut when I was scanning it. I apologize for that, but it's just a couple of millimeters here at the bottom. Everything else is on the board. So we've got everything that we need. And again, it is just a tiny smidge off color because of my printer being out of ink. Theirs looks way better than mine does, but this will work for our purposes. We've got plain, just field territory. This looking stuff is mud. Then we have forest, and then we have hexes that have buildings in it. And then there is a road running through there. When it comes to firing, the line of tree hexes here will impede but not block line of sight. But things like forest and buildings will block line of sight. So you can fire into but not through, stuff like that. Now, you'll notice as we're looking at our map here, there are numbers. And it's kind of hard to see because the red is actually what's out on my map, unfortunately. So you can't see the red numbers. Let me actually pick this one up again. Sorry to show you guys, but we've got the black numbers, which are easier to see, and the red numbers. So red here, 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 here. And you'll notice they're specific to a side, right? So this 3 is not just in the middle, it's that direction. That tells you what direction the enemy tank's going to be pointing in if it spawns there. Like this 4, pointing up in this direction. So if there's an enemy tank there, it's going to be pointing that way. Real simplistic way to do it. Love it. Nice and streamlined. For our mission, we're going to have 2 Panzer IVs starting out. They're going to be in the black hexes. So we simply roll a d6 and see where the 2 of them are going to spawn. They will be separate hexes, so you're not going to have 2 tanks on top of each other. And we do have the potential for things like infantry to spawn in. That's where those red numbers are going to come into play. It is just that simple. So let's roll and see where our enemy tanks are going to be. First one is going to be at 1. It is a Panzer IV. 1 is way up here at the top, so we'll place the counter with him pointing south and roll again, see where the next one's going to go. 2 is right over here next to him. That actually kind of sucks. It was one of them spaced out a little bit. But I do like this because, like I said, even the first mission, is going to have replay value because the enemy tanks are never going to spawn in the same place. Plus, you have all the events that are going to happen. Now, again, since this is a book, one of the things you will have to provide for yourself is some dice. You can use an app to provide the dice or use your own dice. It doesn't matter. And again, as always, I recommend the double six dice. Gotta love them. 12-sided D6s. Gotta love it, dude. They work so well. Okay, so again, we're going to go down this page. This is not only the rules, but the sequence of play. Makes it very easy for us to understand how this game is going to work. First thing we would do would be remove any smoke that is on the board. Only lasts one turn. We don't have any Sherman smoke to worry about. So the next, we position the commander as buttoned up or popped hatch, so up or down. I've decided I'm going to leave my commander down to make him a little more defensive. Actually, I should probably put him up since they're not likely to get me on this turn, but I'm going to stick with it. We're going to leave him down because I don't want to lose the commander. Having him gives me some bonuses later on, but I lose some bonuses early on by not having him up because that's where it comes into our actions over here. Okay, third thing we do is where we get our actions. And we have 3 columns to determine our actions, A, B, or C. Now, A is basically movement. B is basically attacking. C is a combination of attacking, repairing, putting out smoke, going hold down, all that type stuff. You can do A or B in any order, and then you do C last. So you can move, then attack, or attack and then move, and then whatever's going on down here. So the way it's going to work when it comes to your actions is you get X amount of dice to roll depending on if your crew are alive and whether your commander is up or down. I'm going to go ahead and move first because I don't want to... I don't think I want to get stuck in with these guys just yet. There's nothing I can see. Tracing the line of sight up along there. Well, I could potentially hit that one. No. Well, I could. I would cross some of those. Well, no, we would cross the building, so I'm not going to be able to hit him anyway. I'm going to have to move up the road to get to that one. So we are going to have to move. Looking at that, I am in a road hex. So that gives me 2 base die to start with. If I were in simply just a field hex, I would get 1 base die to start with. If I were in a mud hex, no base die to start with. And if you're in a mud hex and you're down crew, you can end up being immobilized. Really don't want that to happen. So, got my 2 base die. Now, if my driver and assistant driver are still alive, which they are, they each grant me a die. So that's 2 more die. I'm up to 4. If my commander is up, I get 1 bonus die. So my crew can give me a bonus of up to 3 die depending on their locations and if they were alive or not. They're all alive, but the commander's down. So I have 2 die plus my road gives me 4 total die. I can use those to perform these actions: reverse, turn, or move, depending on what I roll. Reverse requires roll of a 1. Turn is a 2, 3, or 4, and a 5 or 6 gives you moves. Move and reverse are the same. It's either forward or backward, directly forward or backward. So some tank games you can move forward and turn. You cannot do that. You're turning or moving, period, for the use of the die. Now you can use them all, but you're not going to do more than 1 action with those dice unless they're doubles. If they're doubles, you can use, in essence, like 2 1s to perform a turn or a maneuver, right? But you have to spend 2 die to gain 1 action. Same thing comes into play when we're doing our attacks. You can use doubles for other things, like maybe we don't want to fire our machine guns, so you can get an extra fire of your main gun or load it back up ready to go. But again, you have to have your crew alive to be able to use these abilities. So since I've got 4 die to use, I will use my 4 die, roll it, and kind of crap. But let's see, what are we going to do with all this? I wanted some more movement. I did not get any doubles, and you'll line them up from lowest to highest to see what your total actions are. This means I have 1 reverse, 1 turn, and 2 moves. I can use them in any way I want to. I don't have to, do them lowest to highest. I can use them as I see fit. Obviously, I am not going to reverse since I'm up against the edge of the map here. That's not going to do me any good. So I've got 2 moves and a turn. I think, okay, so I can move 2 straight, but I don't want to be in the mud. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1 straight for this move, spend the turn to pivot, and then spend the other move to go to here. That is the best I can do. I can be in a hex that has buildings. I cannot be in a hex that has buildings and enemy infantry. So I wouldn't have been able to go there if there were any German infantry, but there aren't right now. So I'm good with that. Now, I could fire potentially at this Sherman, but I'd be firing at a long distance and through a couple of hex lines of trees. So that's probably going to mess me up, but we'll try. I don't have a line of sight to this Panzer because this Panzer is blocked off by this hex of trees right here. All right, so I've conducted my movement. That's all I can do. Nothing I can do with the 1. We'll just leave it off. The attack is performed in the exact same way that we just did our movement. Our movement was 4 die. Here, again, I am still on a road hex, all right? Road hex, field hex, mud hex, you'll be in one of those. So since I'm in road hex, I get my natural 2. And then if the gunner and the loader are alive, I get a die for each. And if the commander is up, has to be popped up here, I would get an extra die. Since my commander is down, I am not going to get the extra die for him. And that is so cool too. The commander is the only one that is elongated like this. The rest of them are square counters. And it is purely so you can move him up or down to account for the fact if he's got his head above the tank or not. Love that. All right, so same thing. We're going to see what actions I'm going to have available to me. Hopefully I can maybe get a shot off here on this Panzer IV because that's our mission. Take out those 2 Panzers. Okay, maybe. Now we can see something going on here. We can do a little something. All right, so I got 2 4s and 2 6s to use. A 6 is a fire the main gun. So I've got 2 fire the main gun, but I've also got 2 fire machine guns at adjacent infantry. There are no adjacent infantry yet. But like I was saying, you can use a double to perform a different action. And in the case of attacking, that can be either fire the main gun or load. So I can fire the main gun, spend these 2 die to load it back, and then fire it again. So I can actually get 2 shots off here. Okay, so this will give us an example of how to perform an attack. So when we're looking at it, if you've got a little tree line like this, if it's in your hex, it does not count against you, okay? But if it's in follow-on hexes, then it does count against you. And tracing my line of sight up to here, this guy is just on a road hex, Panzer IV, but I'm going to be facing at the front of his tank. So it's wherever your line of sight comes in from. I do have a line of tree hexes here. That's going to give me a negative modifier. All your modifiers are listed down right here. So when you are rolling your die, it's a 2d6 roll to determine whether or not you hit your opponent. Very simple. It is the target size plus their distance away on what you need to hit, equal to or under to be able to hit them. That's why the tank size numbers are reversed. So when we're looking at this Panzer IV has a size of 4, which again is listed right up here. So we are that size 4 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Size 4 plus 5 hexes away equals the 2d6 roll of 9. 9 or better to hit him. Yeah, 9 or better, not 9 or under, excuse me. That would be too good. So 9 or better on a 2d6 roll. That's already hard, but we're going through a tree line. Don't count this one since it's in my hex, but I will count this one that I'm having to cross. So that bumps it up to 10. 2d6 roll of 10 or higher to hit him. He does not have a building hex or smoke. He's not hull down, and he's not behind me. So if I were firing in this direction, it would actually be a negative modifier as well. That gives me a total of 10 or higher to try to hit this guy. That's just to hit him. That's not even talking about damaging him and destroying him. But screw it. Let's get the shots off. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So we'll spend one of our shooty dice. I've got to pull off my little counter here that represents the fact that I'm loaded. Roll my 2d6, looking for 10 or higher. That is a complete whiff. All right, so that one missed. Now I will spend my doubles, my 2 4s that normally would be used for firing machine guns, to load again. Load the tank. Then I spend my last remaining 6 to repeat the shot. Unfortunately, this means I am unloaded now. So let's roll that beautiful beam footage one more time, see if we can hit him. Oh, we got him. We got him. We got him with 10. Yes, perfect. I love it. All right. This will give me a chance to actually show what happens. We have to compare now his armor value versus my armor piercing value at the angle that we hit him. Hit him at the front. His front armor is 6. My armor piercing is 1, so that's 5. On a D6 roll, we are going to need a 5 or better to hit him. That's bad. That's going to be hard. So more than likely we are not going to get him, but we'll see if we can get him. We got the 6. Okay, we got it. Perfect. Nice. So now we actually damaged him. What that means is we do the roll to hit, the roll to damage, which we did damage, but now we have to see what happens to him. On the left side of this chart is what happens to the Sherman, my tank, if I get hit. I can have things like losing crew, catching on fire, having the turret damaged, being immobilized, or destroyed, depending on the roll. For the enemy, they're either going to be destroyed or damaged. That's just flat out. There's not immobilizing or any of the other crap you have to worry about. So looking here, on a roll of 1 to 4, the Panzer IV will be damaged. Think of that as kind of like a step loss. If he's damaged again, then he's destroyed. On a 5 or 6, he will just be flat out destroyed. So let's roll our die and see what happens to him. I think this die is rolling 6 a lot. I've gotten, I think, 6 3 times. I'm going to move that die to the side. But that means we have got the Panzer IV right off the bat with our second shot. So, hey, not too bad. We are now unloaded, unfortunately. So before we could conduct another attack, we would have to load up. Now, we're not done with our turn. We have our miscellaneous, which again is going to be determined based on what type of terrain that we are in. We are in either road, field, or mud. Road only gets us 1 this time, whereas field gets 2 and mud gets 1. And the only thing that you get a bonus for, none of the crew besides the commander. You will get +1 as long as the commander's alive. Doesn't matter if you're buttoned or unbuttoned. As long as the commander isn't dead, you get that bonus. Which is why I kind of kept my commander down. I'd rather have that guaranteed extra over here than 1 extra die over here, although that can come into play big time if you can move a little farther, shoot some more, stuff like that. So that will give us a total of 2 die that we get to roll. 1 for the road, 1 for the commander, and we'll see what happens here. We got a 1 and a 2. That's not too good. Okay. I was hoping we would have something else, but if we get doubles here, that is the only way we can go hull down. I wanted to get a 5, which would give us the ability to smoke up. 6 allows us to try to put out fires. 4 or 5, is that right? Yeah, 4 or 5 gives us the ability to repair smoke. And then combinations of all of our previous actions are on 1, 2, and 3. Fire the main gun, load, fire machine guns, turn or move. But again, all of those require that those crew members be alive. Gunners, assistant drivers, loaders, all of them have to be alive to perform those types of actions. Since we got a 1 and a 2, Unfortunately, that means we're not going to be able to do much. 2 is fire the machine guns. There are no enemy infantry adjacent to us, so nothing to worry about. But we can spend that 1 to go ahead and load ourselves to get ready for the next turn. All right, so that's how our first turn finished out. But we're not done. The enemy gets their turn. They get to do all their cool, snazzy stuff as well. So now we're on step 4. Step 4, remove German smoke. So German smoke stays until they activate. No German smokes, don't have to worry about that. If our fire level, if we were on fire, we would have potential to burn up and cause more damage. We're not, so we don't have to worry about that. But I do like the little counters that were included with that. It's hard to see on my counters that do not have red in them, but there are 4 counters that have 4 different levels of fire on them, because you can be on fire level 1, 2, 3, or 4. And it's so cool the way they've got those counters, and then a spot to put it right there on each one of the maps. So nothing to worry about there. Then we go to German tank operations. So depending for them where they are, they get so many die as well. Road is 4, field is 4, mud is 3, damaged is 2. And they are going to operate the same way that we did. Moving, firing, turning, all the other good stuff so they can get in line of sight and attack us. And that some of these have 2 actions listed down. Like here on road, it says fire or turn, but fire has the greater than sign pointing towards it. That's because they will try to fire first if they roll that number, but if they can't, then they'll turn. Same with move, turn, fire, move, turn, all down throughout here, where they will favor one action, but they'll do something else if they can't do the original one. So our Panzer IV here, he's on a field. That means he has 4 die he gets to spend. We'll roll 4 die for, see what he's going to do. He's got 2, 3, 5, and a 6. That's actually really good for him. Probably not too good for me. I anticipate getting shot a lot. In this one, you do specifically start low, work high, right? So you'll go to your lowest number and work your way on up. He is under the field column here. So the first thing he's going to try to do, actually, oops, I was looking at the wrong thing. Excuse me. I have to redo that because I was looking at the 1 instead of the 2. I apologize. So he is going to move and then turn. Well, move or turn rather, excuse me. But moving he will do. So he's going to move forward 1. So that takes care of his 2. Let's see, his 3 is fire or move. Let's see, if we trace his line of sight, yep, he can trace right along this corner to get across to me. But since he is not, let's see, how many is that going to count as? That's 1, 2, yeah, that's going to have to count as 2. He can fire down along this edge over towards me, but he's going to be crossing 2 of these lines of trees. It's 1 plus 1 penalty per. So we're going to spend this for him to fire at me. Same thing happens as me attacking them. Exact same. We look at size and we look at distance. 1, 2, 3 hexes away. I am a size 4. That means a 7 or better to hit, plus 2 for the 2 lines of trees that he's having to pass through, plus 1 for the building that I'm in. So he is a 10 or better as well. Roll 4. And he got a 7. So would have hit had it not been for the modifiers. That takes care of his 3. Now we go down to the 5. Move or reverse. I think we'll keep moving him into this because it will do him good if he can get here. So he's going to move. And then his 6 is fire or hold down. He can get another shot onto me. And this time I don't think that's going to go through the trees. Let me look. Just because I've got it, we'll do it. Yeah, he is not going to be getting it. Normally you're going to trace like hex side, stuff like that. But we'll just call it there and be done with it. And this means he is firing past this building. Because if he were going through here, he wouldn't be able to hit me, but he's shooting right along here. I'm still in a building, so I still get a plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 3 hexes away. My size of 4, so it's 2 or better, or excuse me, 7 or better, plus the 1 for my building. So it's 8 or better for him to be hitting me here. And this is the last action he is conducting. All right, let me make sure. Don't kill me early on in the match. Yep, just building. I don't have smoke. I'm not hull down, and I'm not behind him. And he is firing at my front side, so it's actually a little bit better. That armor is only 5 versus the front, which is 6. So if he hits me, it's going to be worse. And yep, that's a hit. That is a hit with doubles. If my commander were up right now, he would have killed my commander. If you hit, if it's a, wait, that is not a hit. Excuse me. No, it's not a hit. Yeah, I brain farted away on that. He did not have a high enough. He needed 8 or better. I was looking at it thinking 4, excuse me. But regardless, had he actually hit and been successful, let's say those were 2 4s instead of 2 3s, that would have killed my commander had he been open button instead of buttoned up. So that is nice that he missed, but we've completed his actions. You will do that for each one of the enemy tanks that are still on the board. Once we are done with all the enemy tanks, we've done our attacks, then we go to the end of turn events, and we are going to roll a 2d6 and then just to see what happens. So roll our 2d6, and we got an 8. An 8 is all adjacent German infantry attack. Roll to hit at a distance of 1. Roll damage at AP 1. So basically they're firing like a Panzerfaust or something like that at you. But there are no adjacent German infantry. They haven't spawned yet, but they will spawn definitely in places like buildings or wooded hexes. That's where all the red spawn locations for them are. So as I move my way up through here, if I try to go in this direction, I could get adjacent to them, or there. If I'm on the road, they'll be adjacent to me there, and they'll conduct attacks and try to take me out. So now that we've completed our end of turn event, we literally just start back at the top, removing smoke, and then just walk it down on these black numbers. Those are our sequence of play, and then just run it out. There is no turn limit. There's nothing to keep track of when it comes to that. You're just going to keep going until you either accomplish the mission or you die trying. And I got to say, I really like that. I think there is a huge amount of gameplay in this book. And these books are not expensive. They're anywhere, I think, from like $13 to $16 on Amazon, depending on which one you get. And he's got something like 12 of these things out there. And just to show you guys here at the beginning, it does list down his other books. Fields of Normandy, which is the other one that he sent me. Let you guys see the counters that come with that game. So this one has different ones: British units, German, looks like a rifle, light machine gun, heavy machine guns, mines, artillery, cover. I'm guessing these are random counters to determine whether or not the enemy's there or not. And then same type of maps and missions for you to do. But Fields of Normandy, Battles of Normandy, Ghost of the Jungle, Battles of Medieval Britain. I really want to try that one. Beaches for the Brave, The Race for Bastogne, Hostage Rescue Team, Battles of the English Civil War, Assault on Vimy Ridge, and Lone Sherman, which is one I was just showing you guys. Plus, he's got a little watch me play, which I'm just doing for you guys now. And I want to show you guys the rest of the missions. If you guys can see, these are the ones that this one comes with, which is kind of cool because if he really wanted to, he could expand on this game through just PDFs. Now, I'm not saying he has to, but if he wanted to charge a couple of bucks and say, here's, a handful more missions, he could do that and let you just download it, right? So that was mission 1. This is mission 2. It says destroy the tiger. That sucks. And then try to get off the map. This is eliminate the infantry. So probably having to push up into this little city village area and take out the infantry that are in there. And you can see all of them operate the same way. So once you understand the basics of the mission or the basics of the game, it's easy and it's really not hard. This looks complicated, But it is so easy once you understand what the stuff means. Just roll your die and figure out what you got. Try to add up your doubles. You have to make the right decisions, but you've got that randomness in there because you don't know what you're going to roll. You might roll well. Choking myself up. I'm so excited. You might roll well. You might not. You don't know what's going to happen, especially for the enemy, right? And they're so easy to drive and just figure out what's going on with them. We have the destroy the truck, which there is one specific counter for him in this game. The little truck counter and then the tiger counter, just in case you are fighting the tiger. We've got damaged and surrounded, 3 on 1. So my guess is you don't start off well. Yeah, you start this mission immobilized and you're fighting off 3 Panzer III tanks that are going to be around you. Damn, that sucks. Oh, and you're starting off in the mud. So that's why you're surrounded. Just passing through the bridge. And this counts as road terrain. It is mentioned specifically. We've got assassination. Oh, that sounds cool. I got to try that one later. And like I mentioned previously, all of the events for each one of the missions are different. So the events that you have in mission 1 aren't going to be the events you have in mission 8. Some will spawn infantry, some will do artillery, some will do Stuka attacks. You don't know what's going to happen in the little random events. And plus that gives the missions the replayability factor because the enemy's locations are not static and the events are not static. Then we've got across the water, mission 10, just passing through the town. I guess you got to push through and exit. There's a little start point down there. Yeah, looks like you got to exit out at the top of the map. And then the last mission, Steel Gladiators. Cool stuff. So all that to show you guys the Lone Sherman game by Mike Lambo. Now, like I said, you can put in as much effort as you want to create this game. Make your own counters, do it digitally, however you want to do it. Right? You can just have a little piece of paper you keep by your side that you write down what hex you're in, what hex the enemies are in, if you want to go real basic with it. But I have never encountered a solitaire hex encounter war game as portable as this. That's amazing. And especially the sheer amount of gameplay that you can get into it, the dollars to time you get with it aren't even comparable. I mean, was it 11 missions? If you average an hour per mission, you're spending what, about $1.10 per hour of gameplay you can get out of this if you just play the game 1 mission per each time and then don't pick it up again. So yeah, I definitely like this. This was something I was excited to try out. And now that I've tried it out, something I'm definitely excited to have. I don't know if you guys have it, but I got my little go bag just in case. I'm going to take this. It's going in my go bag because if I ever have to tuck out to the woods, I'm going to have something to play. My wargaming hobby will be satiated by Lone Sherman, Fields of Normandy, and the rest that I'm going on my Amazon wish list for Christmas now. Definitely looking forward to trying some more of these. I got to give it to Mike. These are fun. He did a good job streamlining the game and giving you the option to play it however you wanted it, but still give you a good, deep wargaming feel. All right, but that's going to be it for this one. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. And if you are interested, like I said, these are very easy to get. Pop on over to Amazon, check it out. Just type in Mike Lambo or Lone Sherman. You'll see a list of them pop up and you can pick through whatever looks good to you. All right, you guys take care. I'll catch you in the next one.